And Chris, we are live in the Facebook group. Hey, Mike, just do a quick mic check. I'm going to make sure that's you for compliance.
I am here.
All right, good deal. All right, Chris, I don't know if you're talking. Your mic is unmuted, but we can't hear you. But we're good to go. And Mike's here and ready to go.
Mr. Ivy, Mr. Starr will be speaking before I do.
Can you guys hear me?
We can now.
You guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
You might not hear me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I was trying to get Mr. Compliance in for us. And I just want to introduce today a gentleman who really doesn't need to be introduced. He really doesn't need a big rah-rah session. And most people would introduce him with his accomplishments and with the things that have happened that he has been so successful doing in businesses prior to here at UP2GIVE. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually talk to you for just a second about the gentleman that he is. Mr. Sean Starr is one of the most caring individuals that I've ever had the benefit of knowing. I've worked with this gentleman over the last few months. I am beyond elated that I've had the opportunity to get to know him on a personal level. He is a phenomenal husband, a great dad, an awesome mentor, a phenomenal friend, and just someone that if you ever get the opportunity to know, you definitely want to be able to learn and hear his fun words. Sean Starr, no matter what kind of day he's having, including the day that he cut his finger off, he is one of the funniest, happiest, most positive people I've ever met. So without further ado, Mr. Starr, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me? Is everybody there?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Awesome.
I hear you.
Well, thank you. Thank you all for being here. And, honestly, thank you for one of the kindest introductions I think I've ever had the privilege of having. And so I got to tell you, guys, I am so excited today. I want you to sit back for just a minute before we get started. Hopefully, we're going to bring on two guests. One is Mike Boggs, which is really going to bring together the finality of what we wanted to do as a company together and as a team. And then also, provided she made it to the phone, we got Stephanie Graham I will be introducing as well, because what we're going to be doing with the company with Stephanie, I'll explain in just a few minutes. And then when I bring Stephanie on after that, I will bring Mike Boggs back in to bring in everything together. But I think sometimes when we get to a certain spot in life, we really got to look at where we've been, where we're going, and what we started out doing, understanding the mission in the first place. And that's why I'm really excited about it. Now, when you hear Mike, I want you guys to remember back in your mind when you were a kid. I'm going to start laughing because I'm thinking about some stuff. I want you to think about when you were a kid waiting for your mom and dad to get up, and they have presents and you can't open them until mom and dad get open. So when Mike is through delivering presents today, you're going to be ecstatic. So I'm sure in the back of your mind then it's like, hurry up, shut up, get off the phone, and let's get to Mike right away. But if you would allow me the privilege of just having a few minutes of your time, I'd like to go back to really understanding that people would like to just do a broad overview of what we're kind of doing. There may be some new people that people brought onto the phone call. So the reason for doing part of this is make sure that they understand. UP2GIVE is really a toolbox that allows you to be able to take banking or to get an education or to move your life forward. It's designed to be a giving box on a peer-to-peer level. And it's designed to do that in an unusual way. For example, most people in the whole world, when they get in trouble, they have a small sphere of influence. Not like all the marketers that are on the phone today and all you guys that are absolutely professionals. But there's a lot of people in the world that their sphere of influence is their work, their job, their small church groups. And when they get in trouble, unfortunately, there's not a way to take care of those things, or they don't have enough money to get the education or the social skills to move up at work. They may have been in some bad situations or may not even been able to get any banking situations to get them inside the system to make a difference for their life. And understanding those kinds of things, we got to make sure that we're really trying to help people. Up to Give is nothing more than that, guys. When you take it down to its simplest issue, this is no more than a toolbox so that we can get you from A to B. We can get you enough contributions, because what Up to Give does with its giving box is really unique. Pay attention, because this is the simplest way I know how to explain it. Instead of you just trying to reach out to your local friends and family and the people that might want to be able to help you or could help you and might not be able to help you, because of the uniqueness that was put together with Up to Give, Mike is going to go over that today. That's what's the really exciting part. You're now able to reach into multiple countries in front of tens of thousands of people that want to contribute to help you with your cause. And it doesn't matter if your cause is you're not making enough money to move your family ahead, or the roof blew off your house, or you got to get your kid through college, or you want to start a business you haven't been able to do. It doesn't matter what your cause is. It could be as simple as those types of situations. It might be a local cause in your town with a women's group. It might be a national cause or a global cause that you want to participate in. Up to Give is designed to cover all of those boundaries and really to help all of us to go take care of those things that matter. But here's the most important part. You. I want you guys to pay attention to that. You're the most important part. And the reason that is really the core of our business, the mission, is to bring out all of these tools, these corporations and these tools, these entities to put you in first place, is so that what's important to you actually comes to light. Let me give you an example. When we first started the company, there was a brochure written called At the Heart of the People. And the first three sentences that form the first paragraph really sum up what we should all be thinking about, because the truth in life is, regardless of what we're doing, we need hope. And hope is what really moves every single one of us to get to where we want to go. Now, the thing that drives hope is that there's a process in place to go from A to Z so that you can see what's possible. Those things that are important to you can actually be achieved. And three, the most important part of that is that you get to see what is in it for me. How am I going to be able to accomplish those? And how can using those tools, regardless of what you're doing, how can that help me to go get where I'm going? Because guess what? Every single person, no matter what's going in life, has to deliver those psychological aspects in their brain to make sure that they can win. That's why I get so excited at Up to Give and what we're doing here. And I'm very, very excited about all of you. My compliments are really to every single person that's on this call or not on this call. And I'll tell you why. Because Up to Give is using the art of giving to receive. If you don't believe it, when you get involved so that you can use the giving box as an example, you're going to give to a cause and find two to give to you. And what you're going to find out is that you'll be able to make those things happen for you. And that's what's very exciting. Now, let's address a couple of issues, because this is a toolbox. This is your chest to move your life forward in every single way. That means we're not an investment. This is not a comp plan. This is about people helping people. Now, if we were racing cars or doing something silly, here's what's really interesting for those of us that have been here since the start to make this possible. So I deeply, with the deepest part of my heart, thank all of you, because you are the strongest ones. You're the ones that laid the foundation and took the arrows. But this is one of the reasons I'm so excited about Mike, by the way. Mike is a unique talent that you don't see in the world. And yes, Mike, we're talking about you. And here's what's important about that. This guy writes 17 languages in computer code. Okay, I'm an advanced home user. Okay. Compared to what he talks in so many languages, I couldn't keep up on the first one. If you gave me a book and told me to Google it and start trying to catch up, there's no way to do that. Because every once in a while you get somebody that works math and computers like Beethoven does the Fifth Symphony. Well, that's Mike. And what's even more unusual about that, and the reason I'm painting that picture to help you, is that he actually speaks English and French pretty good too. So we're really excited about that, but we won't get into that. But here, he's very eloquent, by the way. But here's what's important about that. Because of UP2GIVE and what we have, Mike has finally put together with his dev team and literally months of working, the finality of where we actually have been trying to get to. And Jerry, our founder, our CEO, he has given him unbridled authority to get that done. And so I cannot wait for him to release those Christmas presents, because that's what I call them for you today, about what's so important. And so I want people to realize that we're here for you. We're here to help. We're going to make things change in people's lives, and we're going to start with you. Most important thing. Now, one of the things that's been missing that we're bringing to the company that I'm very, very excited about is we're starting a ladies movement. And I say a ladies movement, not into anything except it's the women and the significant others, the girlfriends, the wives, whatever, in our families that really take care of us. Every single one of us have to admit that. But the most important thing we can do is we can start bringing some of these ladies. We have the most incredible women in this company, whether it's the Calays, the Cathys, and people like Stephanie Graham. We're bringing her here, and you're going to see a lot of influence with women to start tying this family together in more ways than you can shake a stick. Because it's important that we work through every part of our family and every part of the relationships with the people that we're with, that we bring that together. So if Stephanie, are you on the phone by chance for a second? Did you
I am
make it?
on the phone.
Did you do me a huge favor? I want to get Mike on the phone, but is it possible just to say hello and give a couple of thoughts, and then right after that we'll bring Mike on the phone, because these kids, I bet, are ready for their presents, and we should probably give it to them.
I think so. I think so. Well,
Okay.
I tell you what, I am so excited to be able to work with you and Jerry and Mike and Chris and Calais and Kathy and Brandon and Ed, and everyone that's on the phone, because we're all connected. And what an amazing program. UP2GIVE actually lets us I'm a Zig Ziglar certified trainer, and he was my mentor. I love him, and he taught me and people all over the world that if we just help enough other people get what they want, we will have what we want. And this is the perfect program to just show that through actions, because as we help our two people get their two people and not leave them behind, that's what we're actually doing. And we get to see it work. We get to speak life into our families. This is something that we can do with our children. My son is 16 years old, and he is doing this with me. Why? Well, because it has to do with what? Making money, speaking life into each other. It's a positive experience. And UP2GIVE not only helps us learn how to give to others and help others give to others and change our mindset, because that's when the prosperity, just rains down on everyone. And so it's exciting to be able to help people walk into their purpose. And the giving box helps us fund the gifts and talents of each other. And so all of the mothers out there, the women and men too, our families, but what we want for our children, the future of the world, is that they walk into their purpose. And in order to be able to walk into their purpose, they have to identify it. And UP2GIVE gives us an electronic vision board where we can teach our children and our friends and our families and our mother, brother, cousin, friend how to pull their dreams off the shelf, identify our gifts and challenges, gifts and talents, and get over the challenges that we have by putting those up online through our cause, our website, and sharing that with other people. And it's making a huge difference in my life and in the lives of everybody that I know that's getting involved. And on top of that, we need to have health, we need to have wealth, and we need to have hope. And UP2GIVE not only gives us the first two things, it gives us the ability to become our own bank. We have a ability now to be able to teach our children and our mother, brother, sister, cousin, and friend how to become their own bank, take control of their finances, and be one of the 1%ers in the world that knows how to transact in digital currencies. And that is huge. We're actually equipping our families to win in the game of life. And it is just spreading like fire in a dry area. And we're able to give our families what so many people don't have. And they're not going to be disabled in the new world of digital currencies. So, Sean, I cannot thank you enough. And I don't know. I mean, I could keep going forever, but just I'm honored to be here. I'm thankful and I'm grateful, and I'm excited to be able to help people in any way that I can.
Well, Stephanie, thank you for coming on. I realize you're busy today, but this is the most important thing, is to talk to every single one of you. Your time is the most valuable. All of us that are here want to thank every single person that will listen to this or that is here now. It's your time that's the most valuable. Thank you, Stephanie. Everyone, let's just remind ourselves, we have here at UP2GIVE a way to take all of these tools, whether it's social skills, whether they're banking, whether it's the giving box, and a plethora of other stuff that's coming out for you. These tools are set here for you. Together, we'll make this happen. I have to tell you, try not to contain yourself and start getting too excited today. Don't wreck your cars. Mike Boggs is fixing to tell you about some fantastic processes and things that are going to absolutely change UP2GIVE to what it needed to be, finality. Guys, sometimes when you're building something perfect, you actually have to have things put in place, enough math from the human development coming in to make it happen. Mike and his dev team have finalized that. I couldn't be more excited for what it's going to do for you and how that's going to help everybody. So, Mike, if you're still on the phone, I'd love for you to take over, give the Christmas presents to everyone. Let's tie up the call and make sure that everybody has a fantastic day. So if you're on, go ahead and take over, boss.
I'm here, Mr. Starr. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. All right. Very good. So first and foremost, as I always do, I want to thank each and every single one of you for taking the times out of your busy schedule, whether it's still morning, mid-afternoon, or heading into the evening before dinner time. You need to know that we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you working, and we appreciate you spreading the word of UP2GIVE. Now, with that being said, I want you and everyone that is watching and listening, because some of you know me, most of you have heard of me, and most of you don't know who I am. And the reason I want to do that and give you guys a little backdrop of who I am and what I stand for and why I implement the things that I do for not just UTG, but for a lot of people, law firms, other clients. You need to know that it wasn't too long ago that I met Mr. Lopez. Not that long at all. You need to know that I've been trained, I've been built to watch, listen, and articulate a psyche and a personality. I was trained to do that. There was something about Mr. Lopez when we first met that his desire, his vision, and his want to help people was stronger than most. The way he walked, the way he talked, the way he hugged was always with compassion. Even in anger or disappointment, there was compassion. 7 months ago, as a friend, I was asked to help. I am not an officer of the company. I am not an owner of the company. I am here to provide oversight as I can for you. Secondary to the board and third to Mr. Lopez himself. I want you to let that sink in just a little bit. I love people just as much as the next person. And I've been through some stuff that I will share one story with you because I have zero tolerance for excuses. I believe action speaks louder than words. I believe listening and then performing said action speaks volumes, and implementation of that action is the sprinkles on the cake. Now, I've worked with a lot of people very specifically over the last 11 years, and Mr. Lopez, just so everybody knows, has gone above the call of duty to make sure that this gets to where it needs to be. Now, with that being said, each of you need to understand that I was raised in the military. My biological father was not there. I was raised by my grandfather, who was a major in the Air Force. You were to be seen and not heard, and you were to conform, cut your hair, make your bed, clean your room, and mow the lawn to absolute perfection. Being just like every single one of you on this Zoom, in this room, and watching. Nobody should have been able to experience, and I would not wish it on my worst enemy, what I've been through in my life. And we all have scars, but I'm going to share with you one scar that changed my life because it was a choice done by someone that was my biological father. I don't mind giving people second chances, but when you blow the second time, that's on me, and that should be on you too. I'm sure everyone's very familiar with 9/11/2001. On December 24th, 2001, at the age of 21, my father decided that he was going to attempt to kidnap me and my stepmother in an effort because he was sure and convinced that we were all going to die. Luckily, though, when I had a job, my boss called me the day before on December 23rd and remind you that I'm 21, so I'm really only caring about two things, and that is money and girls. If I would come in on Christmas Eve and work double time to finish out orders before the Christmas holiday, I was saved by my own ignorance because I wanted to obtain more money. My stepmother was not so lucky. My biological father kidnapped my stepmother and proceeded to take her to what is known as Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. On Christmas Day, 2001, at the age of 21, I was interviewed by enough government agencies that would make you vomit because my father was in the military. So when people tell me something isn't going right in their life, a family member dying, a family member doing this, a very close friend doing that, I know your pain. I feel your pain. But when life knocks you down, make sure it's only on one knee, and that you should only be on two knees when you're praising your God. That is it. I have enough scars on my body and in my head that would drive most people crazy. I have zero tolerance, as I said earlier, for excuses, only a passionate drive, almost to excessiveness, to help the community wherever I am serving thrive. Here's another story that you guys need to know, because this is the type of person that Mr. Lopez is. I'm pretty sure or I should say, very few of you know that for the last 8 days, Mr. Lopez has been in a church helping them rebuild and expand their stage and make it better, even with the current BS that is going on in the world right now. The respect that I have for Mr. Lopez is very strong. His will is very strong. And his vision that he started years past and started the journey this past November, I've been very fortunate to help advise him to the best of my ability. We have argued, we have fought. I have proven to him and he has proven to me. And it is a relationship that I hope continues now and forever. But he knows, and every single board member that is here, that I will be very quick to retribute when I know I'm right, based on facts. To the women movement that Mr. Starr stated, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but women do it better. They have an additional chromosome that God decided that was not needed in the male. And because all females are queens, that is exactly why they can move all over the place on a chessboard. It's just a fact. Now, with that being said, I will deliver to you the present that Mr. Stronstar was talking about. In the last 7 months, in the times that Mr. Lopez did need me here and there, and assistance to the dev team that he brought here, we have perfected Mr. Lopez's vision. A vision is nothing more than a whiteboard that conforms and changes as you go along, as is life. until the point that you have found your gift and have perfected your gift. The giving box is designed to help the community. It is not designed to help Mr. Lopez. His 4 pillars and his original vision, I will enforce on top of all of the BS rhetoric that is out there through people's mouths, through videos, through posts, because they don't understand. So as it stands today, GZ through 6, your final reward, your final destination was that ultimate goal of the number 64. An accomplishment that many want, an accomplishment that no one has yet to fulfill. So I'm going to take Mr. Lopez's original vision of that number 64 and perfect it and implement it for all of you. For the next 30 days until, well, it's a little bit more than that, 36 days, I'm going to be down your throats. I'm going to implement military grade conformant communication channels, both male and female. You are going to help adhere to how things are articulated. You're going to help with Mr. Lopez's vision so that you and your leadership and your sub-level leadership hears a message of simplicity and improvement on what will soon be implemented. The number 64 stays in place, only in a different area. The giving box on June 15th, 2020 will be reset to 64 stages. I will repeat that. On June 15th, 2020, the giving box will reset to 64 stages. Ground zero will be 0.0025. Stage 1, 0.005. You will give back to the community at 100% on ground zero and stage 1. You also should know that I see everything. I see your tickets. I see your complaints. I see maladjusted comments based on non-factual evidence. And that's okay, because the communication is not good. Over the next 36 days, I will be implementing a male and female team, a boot camp that will drive home a message that if anyone sidesteps it, I will quickly suspend you without further cause. The vision, the pillars are designed by Mr. Lopez to help all succeed in their cause, in their advancement and education, and the ability to articulate a specific message unhindered. And I will be enforcing that every day of every week for the next 30 days, unhindered. You will see a force of both male and females driving home a message that you must adhere to. I will repeat For the record, there is no matrix starting in stage 2 through the remaining levels, which you will get a glimpse of today. You must help 2 people in GZ, and you must help 2 people in 1. This will start the process of those people who are helping those people move forward and advancing their criteria for their cause that they are helping. This entitlement, this preference, this malcommunication that's been going on for the last 2 months ends today. For each and every single one of you that have had doubts, a majority of it is because you were not given or delivered the correct communication channel, and that is on me. It changes today. That includes our board members, their leadership. If they are not delivering that message concurrently every day on every Zoom, both male and female, I will drive it out of the box, period. Now, with that being said, there will be no favoritism, there will be no entitlement, and there will not be any type of who said who, did what. You will help 2 people. They will need to follow you in 3 very simple steps. Each stage will be broken down into 3 contributions. 3 contributions equals full capabilities of each stage that you are moving forward to. My apologies. And you must be helping 2 people follow you on the previous level so you can gain access to the new one. The system is now designed and perfected at a 1.5 ratio per stage. That means as long as you are helping 2 people in ground 0 and those same 2 people into stage 1, you are doing your job. And you will have no issues going through all 64 stages. I will repeat that once again. As long as you are helping 2 people in ground 0 and those same 2 people in stage 1 to help them join you in stage 2, you will have no problem moving through the stages. Continue to help 2, and the rest will take care of itself. For those of you who think that you deserve to just help 1, will be treated second in according to rank. For those of you that think that you can fake positions, fake wallets, and fake emails, you will be last in line and conformed in line to potentially maybe receive 1, most likely none. We are going to run this orderly, we're going to run this conformant, and we are going to make sure that the information and the communication channels derived from your board members is delivered correctly each and every single time, to the point that I don't need to speak anymore. It is do the same thing. DTST, MMAC, monitor, maintain, adjust, and control. And I will make sure that each female, each male is driving home that message to the conformant of Mr. Lopez's vision now and forever. There is no cause for excuses. For those of you who think you can't get 2 and hope those 2 new people get 2, then you might as well just walk away today. This is not a compensation plan. This is an internal ecosystem now perfected to the point that there is 0 tolerance for any type of excuse. The final gift of this giving box for you, designed at first by Mr. Lopez and perfected by the development team that is here to serve you, is perpetual. On June 15th will be the last reset. There is no more reset. You will not have to rush. There will be no favoritism to rush. You and your team members, your leadership members, and those below them in ground zero and stage one are able to continue to move on through the giving box at the end of the final stage. That's right. You will be able to re-enter at stage 2 so far as you give X as a percentage to everyone in the community. Now, with that being said, we haven't figured out that specific number yet, but I will tell you it's going to be a minimum of 12.5% of everything that you will earn towards your cause. And you have a choice. The choice is very simple and is this: you do not have to go back in. You can take it and walk away and be sufficed for your good work that you have done for your cause, yourself, and anyone that you care about, and you will be removed from the community. Consider it an honorable discharge. For those of you that wish to continue to support, you will also have the choice to do the re-entry, at which point you will be re-entered at stage 2. And you need to do it all over again. You will need to help 2 new people work their way up. And you will not move out of stage 2 until they join you. And then it will just start all over again. This is very simple, folks. I've made this 10-year-old level simplistic. The dev team has made this as easy as possible. And I get it. We're nerds, Star Wars level nerds, Star Trek level nerds. It has taken the articulation from Mr. Lopez and your board members to help us derive a narrative so you can understand it. There will be further enhancements and rewards to all on July 15th because Mr. Lopez has some pretty good things up his sleeve, of which I will not share with you. That will be on him. That is his job. That is his company, and he deserves the right to be the person to disclose that to you. I'm just here to perform military grade enforcement so that you guys fall in line and derive a communication that is so perfected that no one should fall out of the ranks. Now, with that being said, and I already know that there's questions blaring and all this other stuff. So for those of you that are founders, that were here from day one, you need to know that we will make sure, Mr. Lopez to be exact on that comment, that each and every single founder that has been here, that it remains active, that continues to remain active and remains active through July 15th will be the first people to be insured, that they get their card all paid for by Mr. Lopez and the company, and shipping paid for to your doorstep, regardless if you're across the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. And if you happen to be in Antarctica, we'll figure it out. The founders will be privy to additional announcements as we approach July 15th. Now, as a community effort, I want to take it to the next level so that each and every single one of you understand that this entitlement that I'm hearing, that I'm seeing in support tickets to my dev team, to my executive assistant, to the board members is of this. And I'm going to use the current status of the giving box. So if each of you can make a just cause and understanding of what's going on. There are currently 3,900 plus people in stage 2. I'm going to repeat that. There are 3,900 plus people in stage 2. And for whatever reason, there are people on this call on Facebook or in email or in direct chats or Facebook chats that I've been shown, or WhatsApp, Telegram, that think that is okay. They believe that it's okay that only 986 of them should get it all. Let me repeat that. Of the 3,900 people currently in stage 2, there are people in this community that think only 986 of you should get it all. Currently, of the people in stage 2, based on development from our dev team and the assistance of what I could provide at the time it was needed, all have received something. The fact that you guys think that it is a kind gesture that 2,856 people should get nothing is a little disturbing to me. And we're saying this public because I'm going to silence today the people that think that they are entitled to more than others. So, with that comment, the development team and the sub-level development team, with my assistance, with your board director's assistance, and complete oversight for the next 30 days by Mr. Lopez himself, is bestowed here shortly upon you. A factor of 1.5 versus 2 versus 4 versus 8 versus 16 and then 64. All stages, with the exception of GZ and 1, are factored at 1.5. Each stage. It doesn't take 8, it doesn't take 16, it doesn't take 32. 1.5, as long as you conform to the 3 rules. That's it. It's that simple. And if any of you articulate that in the wrong manner, you will be hearing from me personally. There is no matrix except in ground 0 and stage 1. You must help 2 in GZ. And then you must help those 2 get their own 2 so your butt can move to stage 2. And then after that, the community line that you guys wanted falls into concourse. It is an internal, perfected ecosystem designed and founded on Mr. Lopez's vision that you need to pay it forward to 2 people. Any talk of a matrix of a matrix of a matrix of a matrix of stage 2 and on, I'm going to flip. Furthermore, for those of you who are busting your butt and have more than 2, your additional 2 people of 2 people of 2 people will be helping the people in stage 2 that have made it a cause and effect to help their 2 people. The ecosystem, the AI, the personnel behind it, the personnel monitoring and maintaining the system, all developed, initiated, vision, whiteboard by Mr. Lopez has now been perfected. And this is the absolute last time that we are going to do this. This is law and order. This is the final destination. And if you don't want to be a part of the final destination, please take your stuff and go. We are going to conform. We're going to make this work. We're going to articulate the workability of that and focus on people in GZ and stage 1 so that everyone can move forward in the levels that you are about to see here now. Mr. Hanks, would you please share your screen?
Yes, sir. Oops. Sorry, guys. Can you see it, brother?
Yep. So we're going to start at stage 2. Your contribution to stage 2 is 0.01. You will give back all funds in GZ and stage 1. You will receive a maximum amount of 0.015. And you will receive the additional funds of 0.005. That is the gift of your contribution at the end goal for stage 2. Notice the big difference. Mr. Hanks, let's use stage 3 in the current ecosystem of the Giving Box. What is the contribution in stage 3 as it is today?
$200, sir.
At the end of that, what are you supposed to receive?
That would be $1,600, sir.
Repeat that one more time, please.
That would be $1,600.
So in stage 3, as it sits today, there are people in this community that thought they were entitled to receive it all prior to the others. Currently in stage 3, which will be implemented on June 15th, your contribution will be 0.0125. The maximum that you will be able to receive in total is 0.01875, a perfected 1.5 factor, of which the additional funds that you will be able to do is 0.005. Mr. Hanks, please scroll down to the bottom.
Yes, sir.
On stage 64, your final destination, your contribution is 2.75. Maximum amount is 4.125 with a final balance of 1.36 and rounded at 1.25 to a final destination of 15.75875 on a maximum capacity of 18.005. 64 stages perfected at 1.5 factor ratio so that you and your team and your leaders can move through each stage quickly, efficiently, and not have a factor of 8, no factor of 16, no factor of 32, and no final destination of a factor of 64. Now, I may be a little stern, but that's the desire and the enforcement of my drive to help Mr. Lopez and UP2GIVE and the board members that he has incepted to drive home a point that each and every single person in this community right now has the equal chance to make it through. And all you guys need to do is help too. That's it. It's really that simple. I'm going to drive Mr. Lopez's vision, the things that he has up his sleeve, to the point that this will be such a well-oiled machine that when he announces the up and coming new presents, as we approach July 15th, I hope each and every single one of you fall off your seat. Because it is truly going to be that impactful. He's not driving around in the Lambo. He's not driving around in some three-wheeled vehicle that costs $60,000. He is reinvesting in you guys consistently every month, pours his heart and his pocket to pay for your minor's fee, to pay for the development team, to make sure the board members are taken care of. And I'm doing this to help each and every single one of you, because this is the final destination, because the education that's coming for you guys will be well expanded. Education upon cause driven is a perfect marriage. So we're going to have a little race. In the next week, I will be announcing a contest that I will be personally paying for out of my pocket. That contest is going to last until July 15th, and we're going to see who truly understands what it means to get to, and then to help those two get there too. Those derivatives will be delivered via the dashboard, via email, via text message, and an announcement by either Mr. Ivy, Stephanie, Kathy, Clay, Sean Starr, and any of the other board members who wish to be on the Zoom. Now, with that being said, I hope each and every single one of you have not taken any offense to my sternness, but coming from a military background, I believe this is the best cause to drive into effect the well-oiled engine that needs to take place, so each and every single one of you have the equal opportunity to move forward with your cause-driven goals, to realize the factor is designed to help you. But you gotta pay it forward. It's that simple. So with that being said, and the fact that it's been almost an hour, actually 60 seconds left, I will allow Mr. Hanks and a question from Mr. Ivy for 5 people to raise their hand. 5 people will be randomly picked by Mr. Hanks, and I will answer those questions so that we can get back to business and prepping for the up and coming reset that is going to happen in 6 days. Mr. Hanks?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And I hope everyone heard you loud and clear and took some very good notes. So we have a couple hands raised. We're going to start out our questions with Mr. Peter O'Hanian. Peter, I'm unmuting you.
Hey.
Peter.
All right, can you hear me now?
There you are. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mike, thank you for that explanation. We all really appreciate the way that you handled that, and the sternness, I don't think really was something that was looked upon as negative, but honestly rather needed to be done. That being said, I think a question on a lot of people's minds, and I'm speaking for the field as I'm thinking along the same lines as other people would be, is if there are 64 stages and people are going to be moving through each individual stage, how are they going to be making sure that they will be receiving their contributions on time so that they won't have to worry about contributing.
Hence the reason of the 1.5 factor. It is indifferent. There is no changing factor in each different stage, and there should be no hurry to get to each additional stage. And I'm glad you brought that up, because there are still factors out of our control that we can't anticipate.
Right.
A big one is blockchain congestion. So the whole conformant of a big hurry to get into the next level because it changes the factor ratio, it is now a permanent 1.5. That means that there is enough of you currently, or let me rephrase that, there is enough people currently in ground zero that a whole crap ton of you would go through every single stage in a timely manner. There should be
Thank
no
you,
big
Peter.
hurry.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. That's
Sorry,
why the
Mike.
factor stays the same, to give each person the same factor rating to receive all, and not be a huge rush that he went before me or she went before me or vice versa.
Very good. So our next question is going to come from Cindy. Cindy, I'm unmuting you. Cindy, if you're there, there you go. You're unmuted.
Mine's a simple question, and I'd like to echo what Peter said. Mike, thank you very much for your very well delivered message that you gave to us today. Thank you. It's just, is the $32 per month fee still in place?
Yes.
Thank you.
And to again reiterate that, for any person that has come in from June 1st through the remaining part of today that is new or is going to reactivate a position, they will not need to repay until July 15th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that clarity, brother. Miss Samantha, I'm going to unmute you. Samantha.
Hi, I just had a quick question about what you said earlier about the wallet addresses. Does this mean we should stay away from helping people that either have technical issues or are unbanked and don't have the ability to get a wallet?
That is a phenomenal question, and here's the answer for that. You should not use duplicate wallet addresses in the system. It will flag you for potential fraud, potential multiple positions. It should be very easy for every leader in this company to set up an email address for the person that has technical difficulties, show them how to access a wallet that you can assist them in creating and having their own unique wallet address.
So there are wallets that take cash and don't have ID verification?
As far as, well, that's the big thing with Ulala. But again, if you are helping someone, and which again, this is something that I, as a compliance, your assistance to people should be minimal, but you also have the ability in a majority of the wallets that are out there to change the wallet address.
Okay, so as long as it's not the same exact address, it's okay. Because I understand that's a security issue in itself.
That is correct. Please make sure that you do not have unique duplicate addresses in the system for anyone that you are assisting. I can assure you that you will get flagged.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Samantha. ATM, you're unmuted.
Hello, thanks very much. My question is based on people from Africa. I've had a lot of clients from Zimbabwe, but the problem is that they cannot open, the system doesn't allow them to open certain platforms. And our problem is you might find some that one takes about a week or so before they get response from like platforms like blockchain. That's it makes it very difficult for us to respond in time when we're inviting people. How can we go around that possibility of having maybe Ulala into places like that as early as possible? so that people can have their transactions well beforehand?
So that's a multi-tiered question. So first and foremost, if somebody in Zimbabwe or any of the African teams from that continent are having issues, I strongly recommend that you work upline so that they can provide you quick and efficient service. The second answer to your question is Ooh La La will solve your problem.
Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. And one last, let's go with Miss Kathy Carlson. Miss Kathy, you are unmuted. Kathy?
Hi there. Hi, I'm here. I have a question. How is the global community line going to help us then? Does it still work the same way?
Yes. You just need to make sure that you're helping your 2 people out of GZ and level 1, and they must be following you from at least a minimum of a subsequent level at all times. That will make sure that the 3 rules that will be defined in the PDF that you will probably see tonight, you follow. Because the community line still contributes to each stage, and it's still based on a factor of 1.5. And those that are helping 2 people out of GZ and level 1, the system will automatically pay you first. You will get 3 contributions for each stage. You will get 2 contributions, which is not enough to move on to the next stage, but you will have the ability to move on at out of expense. I think it's like $20, give or take, based on the factor ratio, if you choose to do so, because we are giving you free will and free right to do so. But it is strongly recommended that you continue to help your 2 get their 2 in GZ and so on and so forth. And the community line will kick in starting on stage 2. Just make sure that you're helping your 2 people, because those that are doing more than anyone, those additional ground zero contributions will be automatically applied by the AI of the system into stage 2 to help those that have done exactly that.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. Brandon Ivy, are you still with us, brother? Did you get knocked out? I'm looking.
Oh, no, I'm right here.
Okay, there you are. All right, Brandon. So we've had our 5 questions, and we're going to let you put the cherry on top.
Well, first, before we continue, I will be doing a presentation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right on this with the new numbers. I also will be doing an emergency leadership call tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific International, going over everything that Mike said, only I am the Mike Boggs compliance whisperer. So I'm going to break down everything that was said so that you have a clear understanding of what it is and also why you should be excited. Understand that Mike Boggs is our compliance. He is not here to hold your hand and give you rah-rah. You guys heard rah-rah last week and you didn't like it. So he gave it to you straight, and his job is to make sure that the system works, and not only that the system works, but that the company will still be here tomorrow when you wake up. Now it's going to be my job to make sure that you understand what you just heard, how we're going to work the system, make sure that everybody is supposed to do what they're supposed to do, has the right language in place. And if you missed within what Mike was saying, that all of you guys have the potential to move through every single stage with far less people than you did under the old one. So this solves 90% of the problems and questions that people had with the old system. Where's my contributions? How many people is going to take? How fast can this thing move? With just the current numbers that we have. So we're going to go over that more in detail tomorrow. So make sure your members know. But Mike, if you can, and I want to reiterate this because I know the minute this ends, I'm going to get a phone call and my box is going to get flooded with this one question. And you've already answered it a little bit, but I'm going to come at it from a different perspective. The fact that there's 64 stages and we are going to be keeping the 6 stages, we're just moving it as 64 steps within these 6 stages. But the fact that you must help 2 people and the matrix is only applied to ground 0 and stage 1, and once you're on stage 3, the system kicks in. The question that I'm going to get asked is, during the last time we eliminated the need for an individual to have 2 following you through each stage up to stage 5. With this system, you're telling them that you're going to need to have 2 on the previous stage going through all the stages. So the leaders out there, they're going to pin me down and they're going to say, yes, I only need to have 2 on ground 0 and help them to get their 2 on stage 1. But if I'm having 2 follow me on every single stage, they're also doing the same thing by helping their 2 who get 2, who get 2, who get 2. So if I'm playing with the numbers, then long term, it doesn't look like I have less people. It looks like I'm building a 2x64 matrix. So how is the global community line actually kicking in? And I'm getting the benefit from not having to get stuck like we did last time of 2 individuals follow me on every stage. I can have 70 people, but now that I get to stage 9 or 10, there is a boatload of people that's going to need 2 on every stage just for me to make it to the higher stages. So just playing devil's advocate here, I know I'm going to get asked that question, and this is a perfect time since we have everybody on so that they can have clarity.
I love that question, and I love math. So I'm just going to play devil's advocate with Mr. Hanks since he's already unmuted. And let's just go straight to this top at the current giving box setup. Mr. Hanks, what is the final reward in stage 6 as it is today?
The final reward in stage 6 as it is today is 64 Bitcoin.
Okay. And what is the contribution of that?
Well, it's 1.
So that means for the people that would be at the top, it would take 64 people to take care of just 1.
Correct.
Which is the problem and why people don't understand why they haven't received all and they've only received some based on the current giving box, because it would affect 64 people and take care of 1 if we did what everybody was screaming about. Now, if you multiply that by the factor of 64, so Mr. Hanks, would you do me the kind favor of taking 64 times 64? What is that number?
1,024.
What's that number?
1,024. Is that right?
So that means in order for 5, it would take 1,024, and then we would do that number again, and then again, and then again, and then again, based on a factor of 64. The factor currently in stage 5 is 32. The factor in stage 4 is 16. The factor in 3 is 8. The factor in 2 is 4. And the factor in 1 is 2. So we have changed that at all levels, it is a factor of 1.5. Here's the problem, which I think people aren't understanding. Mr. Hanks, in a cumulative total of the contributions given from GZ to stage 6, what is that number?
Contributions? 1.345, sir.
And of the 1.345 given at each stage, the output was 73, if I'm not mistaken, without looking at my math.
Correct.
Okay, that is a 7,300% output increase.
That's correct.
Now, you all need to know and understand that at any given time, through any given stage, you have the right to stop. You have the right to walk away with everything that you have earned to that point, and you will be most justly honorably discharged and be on your happy, merry way. The system, the foundation is based on everybody getting 2. That is the only way it works. I remember seeing a support ticket that said, well, if there's only 21 million BTC that will ever be minted, how are we going to be able to continue to produce the output? Well, here's another thing that I know a crap load of people don't understand. The system is its own ecosystem. That means that $1 shared by Mr. Ivy is also shared with somebody else, and then somebody else. It's the same money. It doesn't just get printed. We are not the Federal Reserve. It is a unique, self-running engine designed to help people build in ground zero. And now stage 1. The lessening of ground zero of 0.0025 from 0.005 is designed to help those who may or may not be struggling to begin this again and begin the journey on the perfected factor of 1.5. And yes, it's going to take people. That's the whole point. The whole point is to pay it forward. Every person on this Zoom and watching on Facebook, I'm pretty certain has more than 2 people in their phone. And then that new 2 people that have more than 2 people in their phone to pay it forward. It's really that simple. So to answer a simplistic answer, you do not need 1,024. You don't need 3,048. You don't need any of those large, crazy numbers on each stage because it is built on a factor of 1.5. There is only a matrix in ground zero, and then there is only a matrix in stage 1, and it is to conform to make sure that the people that are graduating to the benefit of the community line, which starts in stage 2. And if you just take a moment on what Mr. Ivy's going to share with you tonight, tomorrow, the next day, and Stephanie and John and everybody else that's a part of the board, you will actually see the difference of what you're contributing to each stage versus what you are getting on the output. You give a lot, you get a little bit. You give a lot, you get a little bit. You give a lot, you get a little bit. It is not you give a little bit and hope to the Lord above that you get a whole bunch. It is gone. Mr. Lopez's vision is here and now and is designed to help everybody with 2. Pay it forward. Help 2. And then help those 2 one more time get there too. I know you guys can do it. The tools that are coming to be unleashed to help you get your 2 will be a huge benefit to the conformity and the language that needs to be done. So with that, Mr. Ivy, I hope your devil's advocate will help reduce the amount of calls that you are about to get. And I would personally just defer them to your call this evening and just wait. Mr. Ivy, did I help?
Yes, but I'll be talking to you later because I want to make sure I say everything correctly. Because what I say, everybody's going to repeat.
That's right.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, Mike. We were talking earlier, and we want to make sure that everyone understands very clearly that all messages that are given out, if you have anything that you want approved, number one, it's going to have to be the same verbiage, same vocabulary. You can put your own stink on it if you want to, but it's going to have to be the same vocabulary. It's going to have to be the same verbiage that the top down is using. That would include Brandon Ivy and Stephanie and all the other board members. So without, making anybody really, really angry, most likely you're going to probably want to just divert people to those presentations so that the heat is not on you, because no one likes to suspend anyone better than me except Mike. And when he does it, it's final. So with that being said, Mike, you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much for
Chris,
coming on
you
today.
Exit one more time. I want to
Yes,
make
sir.
last little point here. Everybody always, I've been saying that in our presentations, the AI does so many, we do not show the engine underneath the Tesla. You guys are being told how the engine underneath the Tesla works. That's why we brought Mike on board. You wanted to know the exact details. That is exactly what we're giving. Now what you're going to see after that is our presentation, what we'll be presenting to the field, because we can't present it in this way on a presentation and on every single little step in detail. We'll have it available for you, but we will have this ironed out presentation tonight. Make sure you're on at 9 p.m. Eastern on this page, and then our detailed call tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, so that we can really get it all out so you leaders know exactly what to say, how to move forward, and understand how this is in your best interest. That's been working on for the last couple of months. All right, back to you, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandon, for that. Make sure everybody jumps on that call. You're going to want to see the new presentation. You're going to want to know exactly how to talk about this, what's compliant, what is not compliant. Before we close the call, I just want to say thank you again to Mike, because he brilliantly laid this out for all of us. He brilliantly told you exactly how the Tesla engine works. So make sure that you get with your people and you make sure that they don't come back and ask you a bunch of questions, or the board members or corporate a bunch of questions about what was covered today, because the answers don't change. We will be, and I just want to be very, very honest with you guys, we will be using this recording to point people to. We will not repetitively give the same answers over and over and over again. It's way too time consuming for people, and they just don't hear it when we say it. So maybe if it comes straight from Mike, they'll get it the first time or the second time. Thank you guys so much. You guys are in for a ride of your life. Get everybody that you know ready for the 14th, because the 14th is go time, right? The 14th is go time. That's when things change. Midnight, and let's make this the best reset we've ever had. Record-breaking numbers we've had already. I can't wait to see what we do this month. Thanks, everybody. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.